I wonder how many Macintosh jokes that guy gets.
Yeah, quite a few.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Hey, this is John Dell, inker for Marvel and DC Comics, coming to you live from. This is Splash Pages. Okay.
Of course, is the one obvious thing.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an amazing show scheduled for you as always, and we'll kick it on over to Carrie.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night Splash Pages. We have an excellent guest going on tonight, and it is Alcoholic October. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's move on over and see what Drew's up to. I'm just going to be sitting here drinking and hanging out.
Mr. Drew.
Hello, everyone. I did not get this memo, but there is a bar behind me, so I could easily indulge in Alcoholic October. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Splash Pages, the podcast that proves you can do everything in sweatpants. We're here back on Tuesday, and we have a stellar guest here. If you've read comics for the last 30 years, you've most doubly picked up something that he's worked on. Marvel, DC, the works. So many characters, so many creators he's had the pleasure of, and he is also the nicest guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him like 1 or 2 terrific cons ago, and yeah, he agreed to come on the show, which thank you again. So everybody, without ado, the great, the hilarious, the super polite, nice Mr. John Dell.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome. It's nice to be here. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to have you. Nice to have you. I know Drew mentioned this right before we went on, but how many times do you get like computer jokes?
I have stories, actually. There was one time I went online and I bought a computer, a Dell computer, to be picked up in the store. So of course I go to the store and I ask them for my computer, and they ask me, who are you? And I say, I'm John Dell, and they like, okay. So I'm here to get a computer, and they thought I was messing with them, and I had to show them my driver's license to show them, yes, my name is John Dell. I'm here to pick up a Dell computer. So it can get silly sometimes, and I don't get any of the money. I have the last name, but none of the cash.
Just real quick, I have a similar story. So my wife's last name is Walden, and my last name is Pond. So we had the Walden Pond wedding, and
That's awesome.
we had our wedding pictures done at Walden Pond, and they had the Mounties there and stuff like that. They couldn't believe like our last names were Walden and Pond. It was hilarious. But
I'm using a Dell computer, and on my other network, I go by Delphine, and they all call me Dell, so I'm Dell on the Dell.
I've been called by my last name. In fact, in high school, people usually use my last name to call me instead of my first name. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't mind.
That's fine. So John, I just want to tell you, it was hard choosing something to read from yours, because again, 30 years, man. I mean, that's why, like, I was racking my mind, and then I don't know if it was Leo or Carrie. It was like, why don't you just ask him what does he want us to read? And I was like, wow, that's genius. And we did, and you were like, yeah, Young Avengers was good, like that. JLA was good, like that. And I've spent most of the last couple of years working on Spider titles. I was like, I know, I've you signed them for me, thank you.
JLA was one of my favorites. I really love that book.
Oh yeah, I mean, you, Howard Porter,
right?
Grant Morrison, just redefining the JLA at that time. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, the way it happened. I think I was working on Lobo at the time, and there was some interest in getting me over to do the Batman titles. So what they did was DC flew me up to New York to talk about doing Batman with them, and I met with them, and we had a lunch, and I'm kind of hanging around the offices, and I run into oh darn, I can't think of his name. He came in. Howard. He was trying to get Howard to do JLA, and I'd worked with Howard on a few covers, and Ruben Diaz, that's who it was. And he said, hey, you're here. Why don't you talk to Howard and talk about doing JLA? And the Batman people were telling me they wouldn't really have anything for me to do for about 4 months. So it's like, well, okay, I'll look at the JLA script. And they showed me what Grant Morrison wanted to do with it. And I was like, oh my God, there's no way they're going to let Grant do half of this stuff. But sure, I'll do a couple of issues and then go to Batman. It's like, it's kind of like, I'll do a couple of issues of JLA and then have fun on Batman. And it just took off like a roller coaster. It just, I just never wanted off of it. I was just working on Howard's pencils were beautiful, and Grant's scripts were just incredible. So it was a dream. It was a dream job. It really was.
And it was just like, again, like the scope. I mean, Grant Morrison, JLA. I mean, I swear, like everything he did in the 90s, the 2000s. I mean, just everything was just on another level. I mean, you have this storyline here. You have
they had New God. They had. I mean, there was he got to fight. Well, Shazam knocked him out. That was Superman out. There was so many things going. It really was one of the wildest rides I'd ever had in comics. It really was. And just the firepower. They had all of DC's icons in one, all of DC's best toys in one book. So,
right.
I enjoyed it from beginning to end.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and then you got Howard Porter just churning out the best work. And even like, I think your interludes were like, it was like Mark Millar did like a 2-parter at some point. Yeah. And it was just nuts.
Oh, we had Darkseid. I mean, it was just, that whole Darkseid saga was just incredible. Darkseid is, the Sandman had a two-issue crossover, which was kind of interesting. They brought back Starro. It was really, I don't think I've ever done anything of that level since JLA. I mean, just that was incredible.
Absolutely. And Leo Carey, do you have anything? Because I feel like I'm just rolling with this. I feel like I should probably do a drink.
I have my the question that I brought this up before, and this is going over to the Young Avengers. One of the first shots we see is J. Jonah Jameson, and so I've noticed that no matter who is drawing or doing whatever, J. Jonah Jameson is the one person you can count on who's not a hero with a costume, that everybody will know exactly who it is as soon as they see him. It's like they have a side class on, this is how you draw J. Jonah Jameson or something.
Yeah, he's such a, I mean, Ditko so establishes everything about his physical appearance. So you go right from nobody can, it's just perfect. I mean, it's exactly what you need in the character, and it's, I think everybody just sees that goes back to the original source material and just says, yeah, that's Steve nailed it. All we got to do is play off of that.
Mm-hmm. And then I mean that's the scope of things, John. I mean you've worked with so many greats. I mean even here you had Howard Porter on JLA, you have Jim Chung
Oh yeah.
on this. I mean I've met Jim quite a few times, and I've had the pleasure of him signing my books. And you know, him, Lionel Yu, Olivier Copiel. I mean,
Oh yeah.
there's a smattering of artists. They make it look so easy, and it's gorgeous. But you're just like the scope of things, like even people talking, it's stunning to look at. I mean, you know, like when, like I know like this, the original run was like 12 issues, and then you know there were like little mini series here and there,
Right.
and everything. But I was just like each one I was like I've known of the Young Avengers, but I never read the story.
Well, the
And
scripts are perfect. The scripts are beautiful. Alan's scripts were, I mean, incredible. Just the stories he came up with, you know, everything he put into that book was just pure magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So so basically the thing I have is like you're an inker, you know what I mean? You're that, like, what's your approach? Like do you, you know, how to say this? Do you ask for the jobs? Do they come to you? Like what's like the go-to, you know, like what's your process? Like is there one? Like,
Well,
just what's your
I guess what normally happens is a penciler will ask, if a penciler is assigned a title, they'll give him a choice sometimes of inkers. And I've been lucky enough to have enough pencilers request me for jobs, and Jimmy requested me for Young Avengers, and well, Howard requested me for JLA. I think Mark probably requested me for Spider-Man. It kind of works like that.
Yeah. When there's more than one inker on a book, is that like a deadline thing, or?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Like, okay, you mentioned Ariel Olivetti for the House of M stuff. Dexter Vines, I think, was inking that, and they ran into some deadline problems, and I wound up throwing in and inking some of those pages. If you can recall, there's a page in House of M where Wanda says "No more mutants."
Right.
I inked that one. I inked that page.
Oh,
that's one of the pages.
wow.
Yeah, that one's staying in my portfolio. She's just.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just a gorgeous page.
Do you ever, like, you know, with Olivier, because he said Ariel, and I was like, wait a second, but I was like, hold on. Do you ever think, like, you know, you're inking this thing and like this is going to be like a moment in comic book history? Like, do you ever?
That one was. There was a scene in Young Avengers where I think Iron Lad runs his sword through Kang.
Mm-hmm.
And of course he is Kang.
Right.
So him killing a future version of himself, and Jimmy, man, that page, when I saw that page in pencils, I just knew that was going to be, wow, that was going to be a big moment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's every now and then, and when she said "No more mutants," I knew it's like, because you just, the way he drew that page, that panel, it's just a close crop on her lips from the side.
Right.
And just that word balloon says "No more mutants." It's like when I saw that page, and I was like, oh, that's what I'm really gonna have fun doing, and knowing it's gonna pop when people see it.
Right. Yoink, mine. You know, no resell. No, absolutely. Leo, did you have anything? I feel like I'm just babbling.
You're mute, Leo.
Yeah, there it is. Wow, that one's in the portfolio.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh,
and
Leo,
Jimmy Chung did a retelling of it. I forget. It might have been during the when they were trying to figure out who was a Skrull. But Jimmy did a pencil page of that also. He was kind of recounting that moment in one of those issues, and I made sure I kept that one too. So that's like, yeah, I'll keep both versions of that.
Yeah, I think that was during the New Avengers run. It was during New Avengers. It was during the Secret Invasion, because they were doing 2 storylines in the New Avengers where it was them in the Savage Land trying to figure out who's a Skrull, and then it was the flashback explaining the extent of the infiltration, how it had been going on for, you know, years.
Right.
Jim Chung was the artist for that. Yeah, I haven't signed
on that as well. I've worked with Jim on a lot of things. He's actually one one of my favorite pencils to work with. He pretty much inks himself now. He does very well. I mean, he's fantastic inking himself. So there's no problems there. You know, he does a really good job of it.
So looking at JLA and as opposed to New Avengers or Young Avengers, yeah, how has your process changed going back from like the older comics to the newer ones?
When I first broke into DC and Marvel, of course there was lettering on the pages. I kind of like that. And I'll tell you why, because sometimes when I'm inking a page that's not lettered, there's a whole bunch of background, you know, like little intricate things in the background, machinery, leaves, whatever stuff. And I'll spend my time and I'll really noodle it out and be happy with it. And then there's a big word balloon over it when it comes out in print. So it's kind of, but I pretty much, my process is I just pick a spot on the page and think, okay, well, I can kind of warm up just doing this little stuff here until I get really warmed up to do the big stuff and the big figures. I'll knock out most of the brush work first, and then I'll do my backgrounds and then tighten up with, you know, textures and stuff like that and white out.
So are you still using brushes instead of trying to do all the digital stuff? Just doing it. I'm awesome.
Totally analog. There it is.
Nice. I appreciate that. That's very cool.
I'm just not technically inclined to do anything with a computer. I'm barely able to do this. So
there you go. So, you know, and then on top of it, I mean, you've been doing this for like 30 plus years. You know, you've seen comics evolve, you know. I mean, I'm sure you remember cons used to be like, you know, equivalent like to the flea markets and strip malls. And then there's things like Terrific Con where you have lines of people with, you know, ranging from 4, like, you know, how I managed to stack the books. You know, so what's that been like? You know, you've watched it grow, you've watched things rise and fall, and you know, you're still there. You're a constant.
Yeah.
So.
I guess I started going to cons back in '83 or '84. I was still in high school, and it was like you said. It was like usually it was like a hotel had a ballroom, and it was just that, you know. And it was intimate. It was close. You got to really talk to the artists, and you know, got to hang out. I started talking to artists and showing my samples. But like I said, now it's grown so big. It's almost more of a what celebrities are going to be at the show besides artists, and you know, the lines, like you said, are crazy. I think one thing I've noticed though is I can remember when I was going to shows and trying to break in and meeting editors and artists. There was always at least a dozen or so people that had portfolios to show off because they were trying to get into comics, you know. So you'd always bump into people with portfolios and make friends and stuff. Jamal Eigel was one I met. We kind of hit it off. We've been friends.
Great guy.
Now it's like I'll go 3 days and not see a single portfolio. That's kind of disappointing.
Aw.
But I mean, I still love going to shows. I still love meeting people. I don't mind signing the books. I don't mind doing the sketches. It's fun. It gets me out of my house for one thing, because I'm trapped here all day sometimes. So if I can get out and be social, I enjoy it.
Well, and that's something I just want to also say thank you, because you know, I'm the one that's sometimes reaching out to our guests a lot, and sometimes like I have to restrain my fanboy-iness, because I'm like, I know who you are. This is great. Oh my God, I have so much. I have to restrain that because you know, a lot.
I'm like that too. Still, I'm still like that.
Yeah.
So
you know,
like I get to squee. It's allowed because I'm a girl with a squirrel. So I'm like, cheer on the show.
I was like when I was just at that show where I met you, Terrificon.
Yes.
Okay. Here's me being a fanboy. I got to ink John Romita Jr. on some Electra covers.
Wow.
They were blue lines, but it's still, I'm inking John Romita Jr. And that's like, for me, you know, reading Iron Man with Bob Layton and him way long ago, I was big into, you know, I love John Romita. I was too afraid to get him to sign the cover for me. So I gave the cover to somebody else to go get him to sign it for me. It's like, here's $20. Ask John if he'll sign this for me. Because I didn't want to geek out in front of John Romita Jr. So, and he did. He signed it for me, which was nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, like I said, John, it was just like, it's just one of those, like, it's so, I think it's sometimes so easy to put you guys on that pedestal. And, you're just like, they're normal people like you. They need water. They have to stretch their legs. They get distracted. They also love things that you might also love, and you could talk about and make them laugh. I mean, you can ask Leo and Carrie here. I have my moments where I'm like, and it was like, how do you know this? How do you remember what all these things? Like, I was like, yeah, but don't turn around. Be cool, baby. Don't look at them. Like,
Drew,
don't make eye contact unless we have an interview. Calm down. Carrie can back me up.
I like meeting people. I enjoy it.
You're a social butterfly.
Come show me the comic that you bought when you were 14 years old, and I'll sign. I'll tell you about how much fun I had doing it.
Right.
Next year, we need to make flashcards because the rest of us don't recognize every single person in the comic book industry or the celebrity stars or the voice actors and stuff. Whereas as we're sitting here at our tables or talking, going and doing interviews, Drew is like, did you see right over behind you? This guy walked by the table 4 times. How did you not know who he was?
I can't recognize any of the celebrities. I never. You can point to me.
He gives us shit for it, though.
I have no idea who that is, and I don't want to say I don't know who you are, so I just smile and wave.
Right?
Okay. First thing, John, I agree. Second thing, Carrie, for the record, okay, I only did that because Tom Welling, Smallville Superman, walked past our table once, twice, 3, 4 times, and this guy above me, who is a huge Superman and Smallville fan, missed every single, hold on, I'm going to do it, Scarlet Witch, time.
Yeah, and not only, there was something about our booth that interests Tom Welling. Like, he walked by staring us down. Like, and yeah, I missed it every single time. I'm a huge Tom Welling fan, huge Smallville fan, huge Superman fan.
Yeah. Every time.
Yeah. But Carrie, one thing we forget is, this encyclopedic knowledge of comics, that's Drew's superpower.
This is true.
I honestly can't remember a lot of the things I've done. I get surprised. Someone will bring something up to me and they'll say, "Did you do this?" And I'm like, I honestly don't remember. But I'll look through it and I'll say, "Oh, yeah, okay, this is me. And my name's in the credits. Yeah, I did that." So it's nice to see those things that I don't remember and kind of reintroduces me to things, and I like that.
Well, John, I listen. First thing, I'm always about those odd references because, like you said, it's just like, oh wow, hey, cool. But Leo, again, the person I always aspired to be is the late great Mark Gruenwald, who was the Marvel encyclopedia. Man knew everything. So, that is where I aspire. So if it helps us get further, sure. Whatever floats your flipping boat, my man. Or flips your boat on the pond, my man.
Floats, flips, flies.
We've got a question popped up here. No Name Collects says, love your work, John. Was wondering if you had any art tips.
I will tell you that if you're going to want to be in comics, it's a good idea to focus on one of the things that you enjoy. If you want to be a penciler, focus on penciling. Don't ink your stuff. If you want to be an inker, find pencils online, print them out, ink them. And really, I would say there's no way to work. There's no hard and fast rule to drawing comics. It's just as long as what you're doing is expressive, is articulate, is if you have something to say with a pencil and you have the ability to do it, then there's no reason why you shouldn't.
Right.
When I was breaking the comics, you had Marvel and you had DC. That was it. And then nowadays with online comics, online and GoFundMe's, the sky's the limit in what you can do. You don't even have to be the best artist or writer in the world. You can still print it and you can still get people that will like it and give and look at it. It's wide open now.
Right.
So yeah, awesome. And learn storytelling more than drawing. Learn storytelling, because you can be a bad artist and still be an excellent storyteller, and that moves it along better than anything.
And you were saying bring your portfolios to cons to let people see them,
yes.
because I think
Yes.
some people get scared because they might have had a bad experience where somebody's just like, I don't have time.
Well, it's
I
true.
mean, if you're an author, if you you try to send your book to somebody, like 90% of the time it's going to hit their agent or their secretary first. They're going to be like, no, he doesn't accept these, or she doesn't accept these,
Well,
So
there's kind of a reason why. If you have an idea for a story or a character, and you send it to Marvel or DC, they're probably going to throw it right into the trash can. They're going to thank you because what they're worried about in those cases is they say let's say you come up with a really good, okay, I got this Spider-Man story I want to do, and it's got all this, and you send it to them, and they don't use it, but something similar to that comes out, you're going to get upset and say, well, they stole my idea. So they almost don't even look at stuff like that. They just because they're so worried about something like that happening. If you send a character, look at my character I created. They're going, nope, can't use that. Can't look because, hey, that guy that just came out in issue 27 of such and such looks just like my guy. So they won't even look at it. But if you're gonna send samples and tryouts, use their established characters, and don't try to do like, I got this mega idea. Try to do something along the lines of A Day in the Life of Spider-Man, something that can fit right between two issues if they need to fill in. So yeah, and try to keep it average is what I'm telling you, because they're gonna if they're gonna come to a point where they need somebody and need something, they're not gonna look for a blockbuster in between two storylines. So try something like that. Try something small if you're gonna be a writer, and if you're gonna be an artist, like I said, use their characters. Don't send yours.
Fair enough. That's great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some stories. I'll give you a call later. She's like, she's not lying. She's not.
No, I would not joke about that, Carrie. But John, how did it start? Like comics, like, was there a moment that just hooked you? And then the second question to that is, what was your first project on comics? Like, what was your in?
Okay. I guess I have images in my head of John Buscema's Silver Surfers, and some Avengers stuff that I was buying. Jack Kirby's. They used to do the Jack Kirby reprints. That stuff blew me away for Fantastic Four, and there's like a few splash pages and images that are stuck. Superman versus Muhammad Ali. I bought that off the Superman versus Spider-Man. Those I remember seeing, going up to the 7-Eleven and going, "Oh my God, I got it!" Begging mom for $2 in the 70s to buy a big comic book was really easy. And I remember I was always trying to draw that. I used to like if I had a comic cover I like, I would try and copy it onto my school notebook cover. So like math would be a ROM cover.
Nice.
And I guess a friend of mine living in Pensacola, I ran into a guy, Mark Probst, and we were putting a fanzine out in Florida. And at that time, I think we had heard Bill Black was really starting up his company, his Americomics, AC Comics. It was one of those. So we thought, okay, we'll go down, because, hey, we want to get into comics. We'll go down and interview we're in Florida. Let's go visit a Florida comic company and interview them for an issue of our fanzine. And he kind of started giving Mark work. And then I remember I was at a convention one time, and I'm sitting there with my brush and my ink, and I'm just doing something by myself. And Mark took Bill Black took a picture from Rick Levin's of the Shades, and he said, "Here, kid, ink this, and if you do a good job, I'll give you some pages." And I did, and I got some pages, and that was pretty much what kicked it off for me.
Wow!
Nice. Did the independents for a while. Did some stuff for Southern Nights, helping Mark on backgrounds because we were kind of rooming at the time. And then Speed Racer for a while, Racer X, and then I kind of fell out of comics. Actually, I got married, and I was working at Mervyn's selling shoes in the men's department, And I had an incident with a customer that kind of said, okay, I don't need to do this anymore. And I called up Joe Phillips, who I'd inked on Speed Racer. I said, man, you got to help me. I can't do this anymore. I need to get back into comics. So he said, okay, well, coincidentally, I'm working on a series called Timberwolf, and Al Gordon is writing it and inking it, and I'm penciling it, and he broke his hand, so he can't ink it. Come down to Gaijin and do a panel. We'll see how it works. And I did, and he faxed it to the editor, and the editor said, okay, well, he doesn't suck. Give him the pages. And that was my in with DC Comics. So,
Wow,
and after that, I've been pretty much working since.
that's amazing.
That's a happy accident. I mean, I'm sorry that it happened to him, but I'm
No, me
happy
too.
for you that, everything worked out.
Yeah, he's a terrific inker. I mean, I'm totally in respect of his stuff. So it was fortunate for me. And I've been working since. I've been working with after that was the Demon Annual with Dave Johnson and Joe. Dave's an awesome. We did Chain Gang together. He's an awesome pen. I loved working on Dave's stuff. I've managed to ink quite a few really, really good good pencilers over the years. Adam Kubert would be one of my God. I loved inking Adam Kubert, man. That was beautiful stuff. That was that was Ultimate Spider-Man. We did a couple other things. Ultimate FF we did, not Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that was a blast, man. Those pencils were beautiful. God, it was gorgeous.
Oh yeah, the first arc. Oh yeah, it was Bendis, Mark Millar, and then it was I think it was Adam, because Andy was only doing X-Men for a little bit, and then I know that there was some time like Adam did a lot of Ultimate X-Men. I have those signed by him, so I know this. All those were gorgeous, absolute, just.
And I think I went from Ultimate Fantastic Four. I think I went from there to Ultimate Spider-Man over Mark Bagley, who is probably in my top 5 pencilers to work with. I've worked with him for a number of years on a number of projects. He's one of my top 5. In my top 5, definitely.
Oh yeah.
You got two big Ultimate fans here.
Hi there. Yep.
Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man was fun to do because it was like it was telling all the stories that you already knew, but kind of in a like what if it happened today instead of the 60s kind of thing, and it was interesting.
Yeah, and everybody I got to meet, because I own all of mine, and I've been fortunate enough to meet Bagley, and he's been nice enough to sign as many of the ones he worked on, and which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Him, Scott Hanna. I met
Scott, man. I love Scott. Yeah. Scott's an inspiration. His work.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew, how's it going? Andrew Crosley just said, hey, how's it going, Andrew?
Yeah, man. No, yeah, and then you, I got to meet Brian Michael Bendis for a convention, and then that blew my mind. He's like the nicest guy, and I was just like, I only brought this many books had I known all. And he's like, oh yeah, man, I would have signed all of them. I was like, why do I show restraint in these moments that I don't?
Another title I really loved doing with Ultimate Spider-Man. No, was it? Yeah, Ultimate. Was that when Doc Ock took over?
No, that's Superior.
Spider-Man. That one was a good one. That was fun. Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, because that was Dan Slott, and then it was Dan Slott, the always great Ryan Stegman, you and oh my God,
I wasn't thinking Stegman. I was thinking Kamen Colley.
Yeah.
Giuseppe, I think.
Giuseppe Chemical. Yeah, because it was alternating. It would be one arc would be Ryan, the other one would be Giuseppe, and you had that nice alternating.
I loved his pencils. They were magic.
Oh yeah. What was it? I've actually met all of them, and so like I think my goal is always when I'm trying to get a book signed, I was like, I want to get as many of them signed, and then it never needs to leave the house unless Leo's like, you know what, I've always wanted to read the Spider-Man. Do you have any? I'm like, how many do you need?
Right.
Leo, wash your hands before you read them. I swear to God,
white gloves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I was like, no, I actually had a friend who I loaned, because I had like this first edition Batman Year One, say by David Mazzucchelli, that I loaned to my friend, and I told her what it was, and she was so scared. She was like, she just
turning the pages with a pencil.
And she was like, I didn't even want to breathe on him. I was like, well, how the hell are you going to read? I was like, I had it like positioned. And I was like, "Did you read it?" He said, "No, it was amazing." I was like, "Well, good. All that effort and you didn't read it? I mean, God, it's a comic book, not a Rembrandt."
Speaking of that, though, the Mazzucchelli thing, I want to give huge props to IDW for putting out the big, was it the artist edition of that?
Oh yeah.
That's that one and the Batman I had to buy. I had to get them both.
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff is just that story and that art is just incredible.
Absolutely.
Well, I got you the IDW for the Hellboy thing. That was the Hellboys in Hell. They put out some great, like,
I have.
Okay,
I
I
have
already
a room
own all
full of
this.
those.
Now I need to own this version of it because they put
Right.
in 5 more pages. So, it's like, but you gotta, because you need those 5 extra pages.
I have a separate bedroom that's almost floor to ceiling with IDW artist editions. It's sick. It's kind of sad.
What was the Batman book you were referencing?
It was Year One.
Okay.
Yeah. That's Frank Miller and
Yes.
David Mazzucchelli.
And
Yeah.
Boy, man.
Yep. The Born Again
That has
team
to be
reuniting.
I mean, Batman has to be an inker's dream to be like, oh, please, please, please. There is so much Gotham and Batman and darkness and gargoyles and.
Yeah. I got to ink. Batman was in JLA, so that was fun to have him. I would love to have done more Batman stuff. Well, I was originally going to do the Batman and wound up on JLA. So,
yeah.
But I've inked a few Batman things here and there, and I was just always like, this is one of the guys. If you ink Superman or Batman, it's like these are the two guys that the icons. And then you got Wonder Woman, of course, and all the others. But just to have worked on Batman, well, like at Marvel, to work on FF or Spider-Man or X-Men, it's like you want to do those. The big toys, the big fun things that you remember as a kid.
Are there any characters in comics? I mean, again, you've 30 years, man. You've done a lot. Was there any that you still have yet to do? That if someone's like, "Oh yeah, do you want to do this?" You'd be like, "I'm in. Let's go."
Howard the Duck. I want to do Howard the Duck so much.
Wow.
And Nick Lowe up at Marvel knows I want to do anything with She-Hulk. So,
Wow.
Yeah, Howard the Duck, She-Hulk. I'm an '80s kid, so it's going to be Rom is always going to be in there. Micronauts, so that would be fun. Things like but Howard the Duck. I would love to do something with Howard the Duck because I loved that comic as a kid. I loved Howard the Duck. It was so, and of course I got the black and white magazines, those as well. I just always had a like for him.
So another thing I love hearing is that ever since we've been doing this, I love hearing about when you guys are like hanging out after a con, going for drinks, getting dinner, the shenanigans and such, because again, you guys need to eat and drink like the rest of us, and Leo and Carrie can back up that we get some pretty crazy stories, and we're just me and them and all of our friends, we're just a bunch of podcasters eating pizza, and shit get crazy. So now I was like, can you imagine comic creators at a bar drinking?
We talk about football. We talk about there's all the secret handshakes and signs, secret signs and stuff that we make, just so no one sneaks in. No, we'll talk about like stories that mostly we'll talk about things that we liked as kids, toys that we have, things that we stories we'd like to do, stuff like that.
Are you a part of the secret tiki club?
I
need to know.
Oh man. Oh God, not that again. Oh,
okay.
No.
We do
Carrie,
have another question though. I decided that because Brian Azzarello and Jason Aaron and Cullen Bunn are all and
oh wait, I know. I think I was joking. I don't think I'm part of that one. I was just being facetious.
Okay, well, okay. So they've all like they all work in horror comics and they're all big fans of tiki stuff. And so I was like, oh, there's a super secret horror comic book tiki club, and like we've determined that Cullen. Yeah, we've determined that Cullen Bunn is apparently the leader, but he gets so drunk every time that he doesn't remember that he goes there. Brian Azzarello straight up said, "No, there isn't one. Right. Don't ask anymore." And then Jason Aaron politely told me that I would have to become a member to actually be able to learn anything about it, if in fact there was one, and then gave us a short little like dissertation on tiki culture. But so I always like to ask, just in case somebody like slips up and lets me have a clue in as to what things are.
And
There's no funny hats or anything. No, I honestly, I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
and Carrie, I'd like to point out that Jason didn't realize that the mistake of making such a challenge to you is that he doesn't understand that you give you a goal. Carrie, you'll climb
Everybody.
even with your knees,
Oh yeah,
man.
I've got
You'll
the
climb
comic
up that
written.
mountain.
Yeah, I got the comic written to become part. I just need to get the pencils and get somebody doing that.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of questions up now, though. So
Well,
first off, sorry.
I before we got too far away from it, we'll
Okay.
get to the question in just a second. So backing up just a quick second, talking about you with other comic creators, talking while having dinner. You mentioned toys. Toys you have. What's something from your collection that or it could be another creator, like Jim Lee said he had like an original Voltron or something like that.
Oh,
I know it.
I've never been the toy guy, but I know guys that are into toys. So when they talk about them, I kind of glaze over. The cool, I guess one of the coolest toys I have was when Jim and Alan and I were doing Young Avengers. They released a Young Avengers doll thing. It's like all the characters in a big box with a mini comic book inside. I have that. It's up there. That's really the only toy I have.
Okay.
I'm more into the like I'll go to eBay and find an issue of Plop that I had when I was 9 or something like that. Or I like to buy the old comics I remember really enjoying when I was a kid, because I don't have many of the. I've done so much moving in my lifetime, I've lost most of the stuff I grew up with. So if I see something online like, oh, I had that issue of Spider-Man, I had that Spider-Man annual, I want that back, I want to read it again. So I do. That's my thing.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right. So viewer questions. Tom Dog would like to know, was there a character that you've worked on that's not around anymore, but you wish was still around today?
Fortunately, the books and characters I've worked on were pretty much the ones that have managed to be around for a while. It was fun doing Speed Racer because I watched that cartoon show as a kid. I don't know if he's still around in print or not, but that was fun. That was a cartoon I remember watching before school, so it was fun doing the actual comic book with him in it.
All right. And Andrew is saying that you are the original art guy. So everyone is saying this.
Yeah, up at CrossGen, when I was at CrossGen, we all had our cubicles, and I would line mine with art. Like Michael Golden, Kevin Nolan, Mike Mignola. I had all these pages up. It was like a little museum just on my cubicle. And yeah, guys would come by and just kind of look at the stuff. That CrossGen was an interesting thing. I really it was I was there from 2000 to about 2003, and just the artists that we were with. I mean, you're rubbing elbows with some of the bigger names in the field at the time, and that was incredible. Andrew was the colorist on Mystic with Brandon Peterson doing the pencils. So we used to go have lunch a lot and go on comic book day. Andrew and I would usually jump in his car and go get comics and grab lunch, grab a slice of pizza.
Nice. There's just something about comics and pizza that just somehow synonymous.
Oh, and it was a big New York style pizza, man. There was like this place that it was like the inside looked like a subway car, like you were sitting in a New York subway car, and and they sold pizza by the slice. It was these giant pans of pizza, and literally one slice was just massive, and that's all you needed was a slice of pizza.
Boom.
And that was comic book day.
Nice. Okay, so va-va-va-voom. First time I saw John's work was AC Comic Books. What was it like working with Bill Black and AC, and what do you think of them being the only ones of those? What do you think of them being the only one of those early independent publishers still going?
First off, I'll just say Bill Black is an incredible person. fortunate to have met him, and he did give me my first job in comics, and he pretty much said, "Here, kid, I'm willing to let you learn how to ink on my pages." And I probably at that time blew more deadlines than I should have, but I was in that learning stage, and I'm glad Bill still puts. I love him to death. I mean, I don't see him that often. Maybe I don't think I've seen him in years, but yeah, Bill, if you're watching, I want you to know I really appreciate everything you did for me, and I love you a lot.
Oh, this is a sincere moment, man. Man, so much emotion here. No, John, keep talking. I need a drink.
Okay. Also, I used on Bill. When I was working for Bill Black, I worked on Billy Maramon, who I really liked. Rick Levins, who's passed away. Yeah, he had a lot of. I think I met John Beatty through Bill Black, because I was at the same show where I first met Bill Black. I met John Beatty, and John was like, meeting John Beatty was just incredible, because I think he was just off Captain America, probably doing the Punisher limited series over Mike Zeck, and he was such an inspiration looking at his work, and we just kind of clicked and got along really well. Yeah, John's someone I really like a lot. I care about him a lot. He was a big help when I was first starting to make the rounds and break into comics and stuff. Yeah, Bill was a good time.
Are there specific types of art? Like I'm focusing right now. Are you familiar with Trencher from Image Comics?
Yeah, that was Keith Giffen. Yeah.
Yeah. That to me,
I got to ink Keith Giffen a few times. That was incredible.
Oh, nice. Okay, I was curious about Trencher because it is the weirdest comic, and the art, but the artwork, it's hard to see on the page, like what's a person, what's a building, what's the background, because it's all so thrown together. I think it was Keith drew it and wrote it, but would something like that, is that really hard to ink if you have somebody drawing? How much do you change things, or do you ever get to the point where you're like, this actually needs to be seen, or do you just go with what they did?
Remembering Trencher, because I remember seeing it when it was coming out. The only thing I would actually worry about if I was inking that would be separating foreground from background, because his style was so. He had exactly what he wanted to put on the page in his head. Keith was amazing. I just real quick, when I visited CrossGen, Jason Pearson was penciling Legion at the time from Keith Giffen's layouts, and Keith Giffen's layouts looked like a little miniature comic book. It's like he had the word balloons, he had the figures, and all Jason had to do was translate that onto the page. It was just like Keith was just amazing. He was incredibly gifted, and with what he could do. And I did ink him on a was a Legion annual with the Emerald, I think it was Emerald Queen or something like that. I loved his pencils. They were so pretty. So pretty. And like all I really had to do when I inked him was worry about keeping foreground separate from background. Everything else was there.
Yeah, I always wonder with like the fine lines and stuff versus when you have the big areas where you can put a lot of inking and stuff in, instead of just like you're basically filling out the outlines and the color is going to go in. You're just darkening and thickening up a little bit here or there.
My job,
how much control you have over what happens.
Yeah, it depends on the pencil. Like my job as an inker is to basically make things clear. You'd get a guy like Steve McNiven or Jimmy Chung or Brandon Peterson, and they pretty much have their vision solid. It's like just basically ink what they put down. It works. You don't need to mess with it. Maybe if you have to beef up some contours here and there for separation, maybe use a white line. Make sure there's nothing touching that shouldn't be touching. Make sure everything's clear for the colors. That's my job, not to confuse the colors on those guys. And then I get a guy like Mark Bagley, and he's giving me pretty much what old Marvel pencils would have looked like. It's he's giving me all the information I need, but he's not saying follow my line exactly. He's letting me say I guess he had enough faith in my inks to let me kind of bring something to it. So it was a good. He left me enough rope to either hang myself or make him look really good, and I tried my best to make him look really good.
And then another, if I can just keep going, if people give me one, this is my last one, I think.
No, not at all.
You were talking earlier about how people would take over. You get this beautiful page going, and then the letterer comes in and goes over it. And the only letterer that we've really spoken with was Rob Lee, who, oh my God, I love Rob Lee's lettering.
Mm.
But as far as we didn't totally get into it with every one of them, as we've only spoken with him about it. When they do the lettering, do you get involved with that sometimes with the inking of the lettering? If I'm making sense, when they have the big sounds like the kabooms.
Yeah,
stuff,
like Adam Kubert will draw the sound effects on the page. So I'll do those and I think he does that specifically because comic books aren't lettered on the page anymore. They're lettered digitally. So Dave Johnson would. I remember seeing his pencils when he was doing Super Patriot, and he is so creative with his lettering because he like he'll just have like these kaboom, 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 and he letters it out, and it becomes part of the panel. You know, it's like when something's happening, the sound effect actually reflects what's going. You know, he incorporates the big sound effect into the actual panel. He's real good at that. Bill Oakley, I remember when I was working on Lobo, he was the letterer, and he hand lettered everything, and he was. Again, rest in peace, Bill Oakley. He was really good, but his titles and his signs and all that were brilliant. His lettering was incredible. I miss on the page lettering. I really do, because I hate inking. Like, all right, here's the thing. I can use French curves and do this really elaborate spaceship or machinery and stuff like that. But if I have to do an S or a C, I'm screwed. I can't do that. I need a letter to actually do that, because it'll have this really nice page, and then the stop sign, that the stop looks bad because it's like something I had to do by hand, where a letterer could have made it look like an actual stop sign or a billboard with the lettering, try Brill Cream. And if I have to letter that, it's going to look bad. Spider-Man will look good. The buildings look good, but the lettering will look like, oh, who did that? I wish they still lettered on the page with stuff like that.
Gotcha.
I think you mentioned earlier that you do keep some of your original work. And you've worked on some key events for both Marvel and DC. Was there anything from a major event that you kept afterwards?
Well, there was the No More Mutants page. Yeah. There's a double I kept from Superior Spider-Man, where Spider-Man has just regained control. Doc Ock has just released control of Spider-Man. The city's burning, and there's this huge double-page splash with Spider-Man swinging over it. I kept that one. There's a few covers I kept. There's an Adam Kubert Thing cover where it's just his face. It's just the Thing's face. I think it's Ultimate FF4 or 5. I kept that one. There was a moment in House of M where Wolverine threw himself off the and hit the ground, and then he wakes up, and I have that one where Wolverine just kind of looking up. There's a few things like that. Some of them are even simple. Like I'll keep a page just because I like the way a background turned out. Stuart Immonen did when I was at CrossGen, he did an issue. Stuart Immonen did a fill-in issue on Sojourn, and there's this scene with just the two characters riding on horses down this little grassy valley, and there's like what looks like an inn off to the left. And it's like, I just loved how quiet and pretty that looks, so I kept that one.
Nice.
Yeah, there's awesome. A few things that I just for myself I keep.
Very cool. And do you display them, or you keep them in a book on a shelf?
Over my wall, I have maybe 6 or 7 pieces. Oh, there's one. It was Steve McNiven was asked to do a Marvel poster for one of the New York shows, and it's giant. I mean, this thing it's if you can imagine 4 comic book art pages stuck together but it's just on one single board, which one complete board. It's got Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, and Captain America. Mm-hmm. And there's like the Jacob Javits Center or something, something in the background. Maybe it's Grand Central Station, and it's massive and it's gorgeous, and it's his. It's on my wall, but it's like it's so expensive to send it back to Canada. He's just like, hold on to it until I can really, until he really wants it. So it's hanging on my wall, but that thing I love. I love looking at that one.
Nice.
I'm still waiting until I can find a job in which I can save and I can start buying some original art, because like when you
I
were
can't
talking about
afford
your
it.
collection, like you mentioned a Mike Mignola, and I'm like,
Yeah,
God.
this one I bought. I remember I bought this. It was when the Hellboy series had just started, and you're gonna probably recognize the image. They were selling his pages for like $200 a piece, and it was this one where Hellboy is getting up, and then these tentacles come up through the floor and pull him back down through the floor. I bought that page, and that was hanging on my wall. I wish I hadn't sold it.
Oh.
I went to this kind of madness of acquiring Michael Golden art. So I basically was selling all my art and all my pages to get as much Michael Golden as I could, and I wound up with a Wolverine 8 or 10 page story that he penciled and inked himself, that Larry Hama inked, and that's like the prize of my collection right now. I can't afford. If I can trade art for a page that I want, then that for me is if I sell art, that money goes into like groceries and rent. But if I can trade a page, trade a few pages up, I'll do that instead. I can't afford it.
Do you do any sketchbook type of things? Where I know there's a lot of artists that have been going out and they'll just give like, "Hey, I'm doing a sketchbook," but if you like my art and you want to get some of the best of the artwork instead of just going through the stories and stuff, here's a
stuff. Yeah, but I don't unless if I was maybe actually drawing the things and making like, because it would just be me with, okay, here's an Adam Kubert poster cover and a Jimmy Chung cover. It's like, that's not really the art of John Dell. That's the tracing of John Dell. So, it's not quite the same. But I've done a few prints and done a few drawings myself that I make prints of.
Okay. Or if you're included in somebody else's sketchbook where they had you do the ink and then they.
Yeah, that's probably. I don't mind doing covers, and I mean, it shows I do sketches. I do head sketches and stuff like that.
Next thing for me to do it.
Did we have any? Did any other questions? People have been commenting in, and I'm like, this is nice. Like, normally we have to. It's just Tom Dog, but I'm like, oh, they're here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Andrew's weighing in here and there, talking about pizza, and he colored one of the issues you were talking about.
Yeah. We did I know for one of the things we did with Mystic, Ron Mars was writing it, and he wanted the character Giselle of Mystic to go into a bar and cram in as many magical characters from other companies as we could. So he did. He stuck in the Seven Dwarfs. He stuck in all these Doctor Strange, all these other characters, from Marvel and DC and all over the place. And I don't know why Brando, he put Harry Potter and drew Harry Potter into the background. And this is before Harry Potter. I don't even know if the movie was out, or maybe the first movie it might actually have been before the movie came out. Because it's a Harry Potter that doesn't look like the actor who portrayed Harry Potter.
Right, Daniel Radcliffe.
Right. So it's Harry Potter's first appearance in comics. And then when we did the trade, we had to disguise the character. We couldn't, when they did a collection of those stories, they had to make sure it didn't look like Harry Potter anymore. And they also did a couple of makeup changes on those. Yeah. Andrew's like, yeah, cease and desist. We got to cease and desist for that one. So it's out in stores for Harry Potter's first comic book appearance is Mystic, I think, number 5.
A little bit for you guys. Get up that resell.
So yeah, those I think they would have liked us to have destroyed those issues, put it that way. But they were already out on the stands.
Well, we better hop on eBay, see if we can.
Yeah, right.
Wanted to blur out all the faces like on the news, but was vetoed.
Andrew was the voice of reason. It's like, we're going to get hit for this. Like, let's see what happens. I don't care. It's Mark Alessi's money. I'm not bothered. I get paid to do it either way.
There you go.
You go.
I know we are coming up on time, but I wanted to make sure we get all the questions in. I was going to ask, since you've been in the industry for about 30 years now, how do you feel the health of the industry is now? Like as a buyer, like, going to, my LCS, it seems like we're getting like a resurgence of like the 90s. You're getting a lot of variant covers, a lot of comics being released, but it seems healthier than the 90s were. Like the 90s, we people were prospecting, buying comics and stuff like that.
Right.
Now it seems like actually
buying cases of comics.
Yep.
But if everybody has 100 copies of in mint condition bagged of one, it's never going to be rare. I mean, forget that.
Yeah, I got 42 issues of X-Men #1 in my closet right now.
You got another one? Leo.
Leo. Come on, man.
We had 41 when I joined the show, so something has changed, Leo.
I think I still believe that comics are a disposable medium. I think it's best thought of that way. I think it's healthier. I think the prices are I think comics cost too much to buy. I don't know if it's because of the printing, the paper they're using. I honestly wish that if a comic I did came out could actually smell like an old comic. You know that old comic book smell?
Oh yeah.
But they never will. It's all that slick paper. I wish comics were still simpler. I wish you could still. I mean, look, when I was a kid, we took our stacks of comics into the park and we traded them with each other. It's like, oh, I'll trade you my issue of Superman for your issue of Spider-Man. And I kind of wish it was like that. But I do, on the whole, think that it's healthier than it was definitely in the 90s. In the 90s, it seemed like they were going to drop out because of all the speculator boom and people buying, multiple copies and then trying to sell them a month later and realize that they weren't worth half of what they paid for them. But yeah, also I wish there were more genres in comics. I wish the American market was like the Japanese market, where you had not everything was superheroes, with costumes, where you could have a story about a kid playing baseball and stuff. I do wish that we had more diversity in our industry, but I think it's healthier now than it's been in a while, which I'm happy of.
Nice.
And see,
well, I was going to say, with the diversity, definitely you see a lot more of that with like the indie market.
Yes, the indie,
which is great.
If you remember, there was like the was it the 80s black and white boom? There was like a market glut for black and white titles. There was like 100 independent comics. But I remember they had things. You had Pacific, you had Comico, you had all these other companies, that were putting out comics at the time. That was I think one of the better times in comics was, But then of course, then the black and white glut kind of killed all of that. The speculator black and white. I'm going to buy the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic that's going to be worth $100,000.
I don't know if you saw, but Walking Dead was originally black and white, and after they finished the run, they're now re-releasing them all recolored.
I remember buying the Tick and just being, or Stig's Inferno. Geez, Stig's Inferno had me laughing. Ty Templeton did that, and that book just cracked me up. The Tick cracked me up when I bought it. There were some really good black and white comics that came out. Among all the other stuff, there were a lot of diamonds that came out. Mage was incredible. I loved Mage. Grendel. You had Howard. Was it Howard Chaykin's American Flag? Geez, that was. You had all these. You had these great independents that came out for a while, and I hope it gets back to that. I'd like to see it get that like that again. It seems like it's trying to.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
I'm gonna jump in as a collector real quick. But it's not comic. I love first edition special prose books as well. I love to get a lettered or a numbered signed hardback edition with all the special paper, all the little, the ribbon markers and stuff like that. And that's what I actually do appreciate some of the newer paper when they have like the Stuart Sager we had on a short bit ago. He put out The Wise Old Owl, and the paper stock is it's got kind of a bit of that gloss on it, but it's very thick. And so reading that book was a very pleasure. I worry with the older ones sometimes, the pages, I worry about I'm going to rip them, I guess, because I'm a klutz. So that's something I appreciate about the newer stuff, but I do agree, it it was easier back then, but I did have some where I would be flipping through them and I'd tear them. So
You know, it's funny because I've worked in the industry so long, a lot of my books have been reprinted in Germany and all kinds of other countries. So I get comps of books of mine that are printed in French and German and Japanese,
Nice.
Brazilian, and their paper and their binding and their quality is way better than the stuff in America. It really is. If you look at they're above us in printing and color and paper quality. They really are. It's much better.
So buy those editions instead.
Yeah, if you want to read them in German, yeah. I got a couple issues in German. Lobo works really good in German for some reason. He really works in German.
I'll tell you the story another time. But there's another question up from Alan. Is John planning on doing any shows the next couple of years? I want to try and go on one to meet up with him.
Talk to the person that is in your city that puts on shows, because I will go to any show where they invite me. But normally I stick to I do Pensacon. It's down in Florida because it's about a 2-hour ride. So I drive down there and do that every year. That's really about the only shows I go to. Unless I was just in Tampa. They contacted me from Tampa, asked if I'd like to go. It's like, yeah, I'd love to. I'll go to any show. I love it. I like getting out of my house. I like meeting people. I like doing that.
He does. He's good at it. I've been there. I experienced it. So, John, since we're coming up on the usual time, thank you again for joining us. This was absolutely fantastic. We could just listen to you talk more about the stories and whatnot. So, in the end, what's the best way that anybody can get in touch with you? Your social media or
Facebook,
anything?
I'm on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way. If you message me on Facebook, I'll eventually see it and respond to it.
It's true. He eventually will. He'll get there. Okay.
Eventually.
Eventually. And then are you working on anything that we can look forward to?
I just wrapped up Superior Spider-Man a couple of months ago, and I'm kind of in that holding period where it's like, well, what are the editors are going to throw at me next? So
okay.
Nick Lowe said there's a few editors at Marvel that say, yeah, we'll find something for you. So I'm kind of confident that's going to happen soon. Just don't know.
No.
Carl Wallace likes to live very close to you, so he can buy up all of your Spider-Man
I have
pages.
no idea who he is. He's lying. Whatever he's saying now. Hey, Carl.
And David says thank you. So,
You're welcome.
For years of great work.
I love doing it. It really is. I'm lucky enough to be doing it, and I really enjoy it.
Well, thank you again, John, for coming. And you're more than welcome to come on any other time. If there's anything new that you get added on to, we'd be more than glad to talk about it. So that's saying, Leo, walk him through the exit, and
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So,
This really was fun.
yeah, it was great talking with you, John. And invite's totally open. We'd love to have you on again, even if you just want to come on and talk about comics,
Or bad movies.
Or bad movie. Well,
you're more than welcome to come talk bad movies with me.
Oh boy.
You just have to put Amityville Karen is next week.
Okay.
Oh no, Carrie, stop.
One thing we always do, I try to do anyway. Just a final question. What is something that you dork out about? Like, you do a lot of artwork, but besides that, like, do you collect anything other than artwork, or you watch bad horror movies, or you play video games? What was something that you do in your downtime?
When I really just I like to go on my happy, my quiet, if I just really am bored and want something to do, I get on my bicycle and I ride. I like doing that. That's my happy. If I'm not drawing, I like to be outside in the air, like just riding on my bicycle.
Nice. Awesome. I can definitely see that. John, we'll let you go. I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. And
this was a blast. Leo, Drew, yes, and Carrie, this was a blast. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I loved having you, sir.
I hope I see you at another show.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's happening.
Okay.
We'll find you, John.
Right.
Leo, walk him through the end.
So, John, there's a leave studio button on the bottom. If you hit that, it should prompt you to an uploads page. And like I mentioned before, we went live. There he goes.
There he goes.
Perfect.
He got it.
He got it. Awesome. Everybody stay on. We got plenty of show left. And, we're just going to have a quick 30 seconds of our sponsor here.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
I got some new coffee in recently. I was having some some chocolate.
Oh my God.
Chocolate wrap.
No. It's just John said, oops, that was abrupt.
Well, at least we know he cares.
Totally.
Well, I'm just going to tell him.
Yeah, that was abrupt. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
All right. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Leo,
Right.
tell him the exit stuff. Or did they already know?
Did you get an
I did
upload page?
Yeah, I saw the upload recording and it pretty much.
It says you're uploading right now. So, when you hit the leave, if it doesn't upload fully, we'll send you a link after show.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Awesome.
And thanks, guys.
Thank you, John.
It was wonderful
All
to
right.
meet you, sir.
Huh? Oh, thank you, Squirrel.
Oh, Drew's going to bed.
All right.
What? No, I'm not. I thought John was gone. God. All right. Bye, John. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, John.
Have a good night.
That was awesome. He's a good. He seems like such a nice guy. So let's see. Variant watch. Let's see.
Also,
I do have
I
a little bit of lag, just so you know.
I also just wanted to say, just because I feel like sometimes when we talk events, we talk about sad things. Also wanted to wish, because I'm me and because of the franchises I represent, wanted to wish a happy birthday to Sigourney Weaver. Thank you for everything you do, you beautiful, beautiful gem of a woman. So just wanted to say that. And thank you for everything. Okay, cool. And Variant Watch. Yeah.
Wow. Does Drew have a little crush there?
Okay, first things first. Okay, every Ghostbuster fan at one point or another crushed on the Gatekeeper. Okay. So let's not even do that. Second, I'm sorry, Leo, but here's the thing. I would see her if she walked past our fucking table. So
I'm never gonna live that down, am I?
Okay,
4
so
times,
Variant
my man.
watch.
Variant Watch. So Carrie, you're on Variant Watch. So don't let anybody drown. I love how you can make that. I love you can make the thing move. Like, I just realized I was just like, it's alive. And I'm like, it's a puppet. Of course it's alive.
Oh, I didn't even see the. See, I'm lagging so bad I didn't even see the Variant Watch video. It just never showed up. We were just sitting here like, okay. So, all right. This is Variant Watch, folks, and we're going to start off with Marvel's 2-in-1 as a callback to the success 50 years ago with Marvel's 2-in-1 team-ups with The Thing fighting alongside various Marvel characters, as well as in preparation for the release of the movie The Fantastic Four First Steps, set to release next summer. Marvel is releasing a series of covers featuring The Thing joining up with a variety of Marvel characters and teams. Go back one real quick, Leo. I'm just going to go through them as we go. First one here on sale November 6th is the X-Men #7 cover by Roger Antonio. Next we go to
Deadpool.
Yeah. If it went up, I didn't see it. Sorry. Okay. This is Deadpool number 8 by Corey Smith. The next one over is going to be Venom number 39 by Justin Mason.
Mhm.
And those are both on sale on November 13th. Here on sale on November 20th, we're going to have The Exceptional X-Men number 3 by Mark Bagley. As well as Immortal Thor number 17 by Stefano Caselli. We also will have Miles Morales Spider-Man number 26 by Amanda Connor, and Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu number 2 by Dave Wachter, Scarlet Witch number 6 by Annie Wu, and Storm number 2 by Sarah Bocelli. And then wrapping these up on sale on November 27th, we're going to have The Amazing Spider-Man number 62 by Alex Saviuk. Then Incredible Hulk number 19, which I really like this one, by Gleb Melnikov.
Mhm.
And then the last one is Uncanny X-Men number 6 by Phil Noto. I just love the two fists together. Those are kind of cute.
Yeah. No, all fantastic artists. All I think what I loved, Carrie, is I'm watching it and I was like, have I met you? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Yes, I have. But no, that they all look great.
Yeah, and I love, I remember the 2-in-1s. I got a bunch of them myself, and I just I love the classic look that they brought back for those.
Yeah, it's got that old 70s comic kind of feel. That's that's an homage to a lot of those great artists. I mean, you had at that time George Perez, Sal Buscema, Gil Kane, and a ton of other legends. They all worked on the series in one form or another, did the covers. So it's a fitting tribute to them. Absolutely.
Yeah. Some of these are just gorgeous.
Absolutely.
The Scarlet Witch one's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's actually featured in our next variant watch story. So
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I will bring that up.
But Carrie, I was surprised. But it's Scarlet Witch, but I thought it was somebody else all along.
Oh, yes. Well, just wait a minute. Oh, what have we here? Scarlet Witch's solo series will be featuring a special variant cover for its 6th issue being released on November 20th. Artist Russell Dauterman is using concept art based upon Catherine Hahn's performance as Agatha Harkness from WandaVision and Agatha All Along. In the story, Amaranth is being introduced as a mysterious pupil that Agatha will be asking Wanda to take on. And is Agatha perhaps a bit afraid of the girl? Find out by ordering yours today. Once again, this releases on November 20th.
Yeah. I mean, again, the book itself is fairly solid, but you got Russell Dauterman doing the main cover. You got Greg Hopewood here. I mean, it's just, again, Marvel's bullpen of artists. I mean, it's some of the best current artists and then a lot of promising talent. It's personally speaking, it's so nice to see some of the Stormbreakers like going somewhere else because, oh God, there's so many of those.
Yep, there are.
Yes.
And there's so many variants. But that's actually the end of Variant Watch this time around. So
nice.
Ta-da! For once it wasn't a total killer.
Oh, don't worry. New York Comic Con is next week.
Oh, good.
Wait.
You can do those.
No, wait. No, hold on.
So since we ended up on Agatha All Along, any of you watching the show?
I haven't. I like to wait till it's all over and then I just binge all of it.
Oh, well, that's a smart way to do it. Yeah. I'm 3 episodes in. I know the 4th one just dropped, or the 5th, something like that.
The thing that I also really enjoy about Marvel projects is there's is certain projects get certain reactions from people. So some people can't shut up about it online. They spoil it. And then some, it's oddly like they're oddly tight-lipped or they're not posting as much about it. And it's so amusing to me. You like, do you guys notice that there are certain Marvel projects that are like, oh my God. And then some are like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like this one, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the two main mystery characters, like Funko, spoiled who they were. And I saw a couple stories about it, but other than that, it was like, yeah, it's
Fine.
you know, I'm enjoying the show. It's definitely better than what Marvel has done. Thing and Hulk are always fun. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's definitely, a lot better than what's come out recently,
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get this over
I'll
with.
to maybe check it out. Is it something that you have to know WandaVision? Because I watched it all. I wasn't necessarily like thrilled with the whole thing, but
Well, it's good to have seen WandaVision and Doctor Strange before watching this.
okay. So it's
The
part of the pyramid of.
Yeah, and this is actually, they've announced that this is going to be part of a trilogy. So WandaVision was the first part, Agatha is the second part, and then the third, and these are all series, obviously. Third one's going to be Vision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, totally. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Drew, I think you're asking about this.
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains plot under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News. Your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's Comic News.
Oh,
I hate all of you.
you're still drinking. You love us.
Uh-huh.
You love
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. All right. Carrie, this is you.
Oh, yep, wrong button. Okay. So I kind of went a little off of what you initially made the news as, but on October 2nd, a couple days ago, Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes special number 1, 2024 was released. There are 3 different stories in it, so we also get 3 different covers. The book is part of the Marvel Voices line celebrating Hispanic and Latin American Heritage Month. Writer Carlos Hernandez, with art by Moises Hidalgo, brings us the first story, which is dealing with Robbie's loved ones coping with his sacrifice in Jason Aaron's run that has left him stuck in the God Quarry. Felipe Smith, with artist Daniel Bayless, follow this up with Robbie giving it all he's got, fighting an interdimensional baddie to provide us with some uplifting material. And finally, what we're focusing on for this particular story, Melissa Flores writes a team-up story with Stormbreaker artist Jan Bazaldua and Luis Zavala, with Robbie teaming up with a roller derby girl. Go right there. This is Phantasma, who Robbie meets when a portal opens and releases a pack of hellhounds to attack a roller derby event that he's attending with his brother and his brother's girlfriend. As he leads the hounds away, Phantasma, who has the blue flaming rollerblades along with a Ghost Rider skull on her mask, eventually takes control of them from him and leads them back through the portal. Don't worry, though, she sneaks back in her roller derby girl's secret identity, Colombian roller derby champ, Isabella Izzy Alvarez, in the end. So we can check out the next cover, I believe, and then there's a little bit of the original artwork from there. And so this is a really interesting Ghost Rider character. I would have never thought of a roller derby Ghost Rider, but it's a form of transportation, and I like the kind of futuristic thing she's got going on with the blue flames swirling around her. Very, very, very different Ghost Rider kind of outfit, but we'll see how it works. I don't know if she's going to be a continuing character or if they're just kind of throwing her out here in this special as a one shot to see like what do fans think, but we shall see. And it's already out and available at stores. So go pick out your favorite cover and grab yourself a copy.
Awesome. And just going back, I like this cover. This is pretty cool.
That is, yeah, I think that's going very much with for the Marvel Voices whole thing. That one is gorgeous. Yeah. It gives me the very Dia de los Muertos feel. So
yeah, it reminds me of Grim Fandango, if anybody remembers that.
Wow. Yeah, you did. We just referenced that. Well, I think it's like you said, there's just so much to the Ghost Rider lore, but a lot of the times it's just, you stick to the bullpen you have. It's just nice to see, like you said, Carrie, an expansion of it in a fun new way, and the character herself, she, it's a little diversity, you never really expect to see, like you said, you never think to see like, it almost looked like a Tron Ghost Rider.
yeah.
But, and on top of it, she's Colombian. She's a roller derby champ. Her name is
Those
Easy.
girls.
Yeah.
Those girls hit hard, man. She also, it did mention she contacts her girlfriend after the thing is over. So we have a bunch of diversification there.
Right.
Okay, I just had a great idea. We're going to get a granny Ghost Rider who has a walker, and instead of the tennis balls, she has flaming skulls, and the whole walker starts on fire as she's going down. And then like chains and things can pop out of the basket on the front. Like it's like Batman's utility belt, only it's Granny Ghost Rider's walker basket full of like chains shooting and things doing stuff. Don't you think? Wouldn't that be, you'd read it, wouldn't you? You totally read it.
Carrie, I'm sorry. I feel like you kind of combined an idea with a little Ghost Rider, a little Hellraiser. That's what it sounded like to me. But either way, it sounds.
I mean, yeah, but like Danny Ketch has the chains that are all mobile around him. So, Chuck, I'm sorry. Yes, you missed John Dell, but you know what? If you would like and subscribe to our page on YouTube down below, well, you don't even have to do that, but we would love it if you would. But you can watch it as soon as we're done. It will be up as a video, so you don't miss anything.
There you go. Nicely done, Carrie.
Thank you.
What's
just
next?
Nobody talked afterwards.
Yeah. What's next is well, actually, hold on a second. I'm getting some news that Jar Jar is tuning in.
Jar Jar.
Now, as we know, Jar Jar is on vacation, and he's sending us, pictures of his vacation. So him and his little pup actually made it to the Witch's Road from Agatha.
Oh no!
He's traveling the Witch's Road.
He got out of jail.
He got yes, but now he's on the road, and the question is it the road to hell? Is it the road to Grandma's house? With Jar, you can never tell.
Well, it's the Witch's Road.
Yeah, I know, but people, the horror movies start on the Witch's Road. We're never going to see the Disney porn. What? The Witch's Road.
Well, he's got the French snuffle pup though, so that should be good. That could help. He could help distract.
Indeed.
If needed. Kind of drool on her feet and snuffle at her. What's that noise? What is that noise?
Jar, in my defense, just look for the red flags. There's a lot in a lot of Disney movies. Look for the red flags. You should stay on the track.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, next story up is Mr. Drew.
Yes, it's Ultimate time, kids. So, as we know, the Ultimate Universe is starting or about to start their second year. And they've already released synopsises for January. So with January, we're going to see the debut of the Ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to see the showdown between Black Panther and Moon Knight. We're going to see what could be Kraven's ultimate hunt and the rise of the X-Men or the new Ultimate X-Men. So we're going to go one at a time. check it out. So in Ultimates 8, seen there, we have the Guardians, which is Star-Lord, who's in the back there. The Ultimate Nullifier, which is in the correction. Ultimate Nullifier right there with the guns. You have Captain Marvel, and then of course Cosmo. These galactic heroes are traveling across time and space to find their missing teammate, and the secrets they know about the universe's hidden past may prove vital to the Ultimates' mission to take down the Maker. So basically, this is most likely being tied into America Chavez, as she may be a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Dennis Camp says their goal every time for the Ultimates is creating or recreating characters that are interesting enough to satisfy and sustain readers' imagination and their own series if they had to. So it's essentially leaving it up to the reader to decide if it's an accomplishment or a failure. But so far, everything's been great, and he's just working hard for it. So apparently, it's their most cosmic issue to date: the life and death of a universe in 20 pages. So,
and the next picture will show their artwork.
Check that out, man. That's definitely some stuff we haven't seen. I mean, Cosmo looks great, but the Ultimate Nullifier, Captain Marvel, and then just a very different direction for Star-Lord. So, pretty good. I'm excited. Like, I'm thoroughly enjoying what he's bringing to the Ultimates. Next, we have Ultimate Black Panther, which is again, a one-on-one battle between Moon Knight and Black Panther. This is to end the war, but of course, would Moon Knight's followers accept defeat? Can the Maker's Council, which, as we know, Ra and Khonshu are a part of, can be easily stopped? This is the epic climax, reuniting again Bryant Hill with Stefano Caselli. So this has been a pretty great series. The introduction of who appears to be the ultimate Sorcerer Supreme was pretty unexpected and definitely piqued my interest. I know it definitely piqued Carrie's. I would definitely see where that goes, especially from what they've been hinting at about this rest of the arc, showing the war between these two kingdoms. So next is God, this looks so good. Kraven's Most Dangerous Game. So as you know, Spider-Man is dealing with his version of the Sinister Six, and this issue focuses on one of the members, Kraven. So the Sinister Six is hunting both Spidey and his pal, the Green Goblin. And now apparently Kraven has the upper hand as Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto pen a love letter to Kraven's last hunt. And that's a tall order. But I got to say, Hickman and his collaborators have been killing it on Ultimate Spider-Man. So my thing to say, if you're not reading this book, please change that. It's so worth it.
Oh, yeah.
And last but not least, Ultimate X-Men by Peach Momoko. Who are the X-Men? The rise of the masked mutants. Maystorm takes the reins. No more hiding their powers, even if it means hiding their faces. Disenfranchised and despairing after the raid of the children of Adam, the man-made mutants seek out leadership, and Maystorm is ready to rise to the occasion. Again, this is the rise of the Ultimate X-Men. We've already seen the implication that Cyclops will be a part of this. There's already been quite a diversity there in terms of the new Ultimate X-Men mutants. So it's going to be interesting to see where Peach takes it. But January, everybody, I'm telling you, as an Ultimate fan, please support more of this, because all of these issues have been stellar. And it's just so great to be a part of the Ultimate Universe and be a fan, being that I loved when this first came around in the early 2000s. So, but Leo, like you would say, everything in comics eventually comes right back around.
It does. It comes full circle.
Everything, full circle.
One of my favorite books, as far as like how the beats went and how it just like sucked you in, was which was it last week or last month's or this month's the Ultimates, where it was the doom focus on like you are doomed.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Last,
I don't
it was
remember
last
which
month.
issue it was.
Issue
But
6.
that, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you have to read the rest to get to there, but and also read the introductory, the New Ultimate Universe one. But wow, is that there have been a lot of comics out there lately that have just been sucker punching me in the gut, and that is one of them that just really was like out of nowhere, just
Mhm.
like holy shit, pain. Like
Pain.
I am hurting because I read this, but it's you're hurting in that way that's like somebody did something amazing, you know?
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's a good
they're
pain.
just killing it. Just yeah. Knocking it
Absolutely.
out of the park.
Absolutely. And speaking of killing it, Leo, I believe there's a book that's going to be out pretty soon that's already killing it. Is that right, buddy?
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Okay, so I apologize ahead of time.
Are you going to curse more?
No. I'm holy sellouts, Batman. DC Comics has just dropped some news that will make your bat cowl spin. Absolute Batman #1 has completely sold out before it even hit the shelves. That's right. If faster than Alfred whipping up his morning tea, the issue vanished just like the Gray Ghost. This new series is by Dream Team of comic awesomeness Scott Snyder with art by Nick Dragotta and Frank Martin, and it's hotter than Firebug shorts. So, but fear not, Bat fans. DC is swooping in faster than Batman at a villain convention. They're already working on a second printing set to hit comic shops in October for October 30th. I believe the first print comes out tomorrow. So if you're in any luck at your LCS, maybe you can pick one up on a shelf, but chances are it's already gone. So if you didn't grab the first run, you still got a shot at redemption and no Lazarus Pit needed.
Oh, Leo, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I add something to your puntastic review?
Yes.
If anyone is interested, Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta will be at Midtown Comics tomorrow at about 5:00. That's the one further downtown, not the one at Times Square or the one near closer to 42nd. That's the one further in the city. They both will be there doing a release signing. You are allowed to bring 3 other additional books to sign. This is all on midtowncomics.com. But you have to purchase, of course, a copy of issue 1, in which both of them will sign. It's at 5:00. So if you have the time, do so. Please do it.
Are you going?
I regrettably can't make it. I already have a previous obligation that I'm fairly certain will stretch to that. And as much as I would love to be down there, it's not worth killing myself for. But if I could, 100% I'd do it. This book is going to be awesome. This absolute Superman, absolute Wonder Woman, which surprisingly, our Gothic librarian above me is very excited for, especially I think because she's a fan of Wonder Woman's big sword. Also, Carrie's like, wow, look, a Wonder Woman decked in tattoos with a big sword. I can get.
She's got a Zambato, man.
Calm
she
down.
Can take out horses. There was a king killer because they'd ride in and you'd take the big sword and you could take down a horse with a man riding it. And
okay, Carrie,
she has one. Okay,
Carrie, we'll see if we can get you one for Christmas. Okay. Point is, this is I think the biggest. I think this is the most excited people have seen for Snyder's Batman since the New 52. And trust me, I have the first printing of that. That sold like hotcakes. This one.
Well, and I'll stop the puns. So just real quick, you're going to get some variant covers by Mike Deodato Jr. and Joe Canola. There's also going to be a special foil edition as well on the reprints. And again, the reprints are coming out October 30th. And yeah, so I think this is really gonna it's under the radar because the way it was originally sold, like you thought, okay, it's not Batman, it's just some dude that is muscle bound and he's going out as Batman. But I'm sure Drew, with reading the what was the issue that just came out, the all-in special?
Yes, all in special issue 1, but I thought we were going to talk about that. Do you want to talk about that now? Or I thought we were going to talk about that after we're done with the news.
I figured we can talk about it after the news. What would you like?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I mean, whatever works. Carrie, what do you think? What works for you?
There's one news story left, and it's pretty short. So let's do that. Then we can talk about the all-in stuff.
Yep.
Put a pin in that. But I think also, Leo, I'm sorry to kind of cap it. Also, is that I think it's also important to point out that Absolute Batman issue 2 is available for pre-order and goes sale Wednesday, November 13th. And that one's titled The Zoo Part 2.
I'm so excited for it. I already added these to my pull list, and I've already ordered.
I got to do that. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I already ordered all the covers for issue 1, and then of Batman and Superman.
Okay, can I just say, and because we've covered them, some of those variant covers are fucking nice. That one we covered, Carrie, that one we covered last week that had that 90s, the Max cover, that was my favorite. That one was just, that was beautiful. Just, Leo, please tell me, does this mean you're getting the Frank Miller one too?
Whatever comes in the set. It's the set of 5, so it's the ones that are readily available. Some of the LCS specials, I'm not getting.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, there's so many certain store specials and things like that. See, around here, they don't. Most of the comic book collectors around here, unless you specifically order them, my personal LCS doesn't order any of the variant covers unless they're asked for, and they won't do the incentive ones because it's Lincoln, Nebraska. It's just not big enough, and most of the people who collect aren't into variants, so they just want the book, do the thing, done. So
there you go. But yeah,
I'm gonna have to ask you guys if I want a really big one.
You could always ask us, but okay. Well, the Absolute Universe, it's the new Hansel, man. It's so hot right now. So
yeah, and stay tuned. Stay tuned after the news. We'll talk a little bit about it. We're not going to spoil anything, but yeah, we definitely learned some cool things this week. And speaking of cool things, Yucatan.
All right.
This looks so fucking cool.
Yeah. So Alejandro Vede Caballar, aka Alex Vede, will be releasing a new title, Yucatan 1512 through Dark Horse, on May 6th. Now that's the date where it goes to bookstores. The next day it will be coming out at your LCS. So May 7th is when you can get that. This is a dark historical book. It is 80 pages in length. It's going to be selling for $19.99 in paperback form. And the story deals with the Spanish soldiers trying to find and steal a Mayan city of gold in the Yucatan Peninsula. As the invaders and the natives clash, there's a falling out. One of the soldiers joins up with one of the local children to hide. And of course, it can't be that easy. They must navigate the jungle and save themselves from both the Spanish invaders as well as the horrific warriors waiting deep in the jungle to be summoned at the legendary City of Gold. So I am a huge fan of like Incan and Mayan and all of that. The South American civilizations and stuff, and they're just so brilliant. Everything I've read, I'm just like, So I'm very excited to see this book come out, and the fact that it's huge just makes it better. I'm just going to have this great reading experience. I can tell from the way they described it, from little bits about the author that I know, author, artist, the entire creator, and it just looks beautiful. I mean, it's going to be fabulous. If you're a history fan or a fan of like dark mythologies and things like that, this is definitely something that you're going to want to check out. Once again, it's going to be out in your bookstores on May 6th and your LCS on the 7th.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Since I didn't realize you were into that stuff, Carrie. Do you know? You must
huge
know,
history fan.
You must know about Puma Punku. Do you know about that? Puma Punku?
Not
So
not
it's
offhand, but
South American city, and it's they're trying to figure out like what it was, because it looks like a whole mess of like blocks that are just got destroyed, and it's an amazing place. You don't know how they made some of these blocks, you know. It's but anyway, an archaeologist took measurements of all the blocks, and since there's new technology now, he 3D printed all the blocks so that they can actually play with them like Legos to try to see like how they were going to build this city. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a book you should read called Inca. It goes through and it's not just about Incan civilization. It's written like in a journal form between, I don't think it's actually Cortez, but it's somebody who was with Cortez, maybe going back to the prince that funded his trip over and writing about observations of the various tribes there. So there's like Incas, Mayas, Toltecs, and another one. And so it's fabulously, it's wonderful historical fiction if you're interested in reading something like that. But yeah, I don't know all the names of the cities, although my nephew probably did. When he was 8 years old, we started talking about that book, and he was like, "Oh, so Mictlantecuhtli," and I'm just like, "What? You know these words?" And he's like, "Oh," and he's like naming the last reigning king of the Mayan Empire, and I'm just like, good job, kid. I'm proud of you. Like, so yeah, it's not my major focus. I'm more into the Norse stuff, but yeah, I do enjoy all of those stories. So send me a link later.
Yeah, totally.
Drew's just like, shit, they're talking. They're conspiring.
I didn't.
We were supposed to be over already.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I just was thinking.
I'm laying on Drew right now. He's upside down. We can't get out.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna share this real quick, and we're not gonna spoil anything, but yeah, the
it was quite
so
it was quite an issue. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, totally. And I was messaging Brandon about this because he should definitely check it out, because Elseworlds were mentioned, like the Elseworld, like as an actual universe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's been mentioned before, has it?
I don't think so. I think that's. I mean, they've mentioned parallel universes, but and multiverses, they've never shied from that. But it's always been, a certain Earth, like Earth 3 being the crime syndicate, or other
like
things.
Earth 1, the kick-ass Batman storyline. Of course, I need to mention that. But yeah, it's from what I understand, Elseworld is actually mentioned as like a dimension. So I know they've been talking about bringing back Elseworld books. So I wonder if this would be like a way to bring it in where it's going to be partially canon.
But like I said, it was very interesting seeing you had two separate stories that are almost working in conjunction. On one side you have the what we know as the main DC universe, and then you kind of get what is in some way the origin of the Absolute universe. You
Mhm.
know, you have this building of the Justice League, a conflict with, one of their greatest enemies they've ever faced. An abrupt ending with an unexpected consequence, and the last person you'd think to go on to an investigation, finding out something that I have to say we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So,
And Justice League is relaunching. So that's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. Definitely looks like it's going to be more members in it. But yeah, the most shocking thing was the absolute universe, like what it is.
right.
And we're not going to spoil it, but definitely pick up the issue and read it. And it just totally changes how I'm looking at the absolute series, you know?
Well,
Yeah, it's all in the initiative. When Snyder was talking about it, he was just like, okay, everything is relaunching in some way, shape, or form. It might stay in the same comic, but every single universe is going to be affected come October. So
right.
this launched new things. So whether you're into the absolute or the other, be prepared to have your storylines start skewing and going off in new directions that you weren't expecting, because this is the way that they're rebooting basically everything in DC. You know,
Yeah.
and it's following along with the movie things. Everything's going to be brand new. There'll be, obviously, like, they aren't going to take out other characters, but they're going to be introducing a lot of new characters and all the new backstories, which I'm sure Jar is so excited about, learning new backstories yet again of characters. But it's going to be brilliant. You know,
I
I wasn't excited, and then I read and I was just like, oh,
I
you
I
did that.
I
Okay.
I think the thing I like is there's literally something for everybody, which I think is something, but it doesn't feel hackneyed. It doesn't feel like, oh, we've done this before. It feels like it's actually taking a new direction, and they've been going about it smart. They're keeping the books they have, but they're doing completely different creative teams. They're keeping fan favorites, but they're also taking chances. It's kind of like Leo. It kind of reminds me of what I felt DC Rebirth kind of did at one point. They were done with, the changes the New 52 did, but they didn't want to lose that progress. So I was like, okay, everything is canon, and then we're gonna essentially bring it all together. And I think it's just, for me, it's just nice to see another thing, a DC event that's not a crisis, because at this point I'm crisis out.
Oh yeah,
Like,
too many frigging crises.
there's this at this point, I'm like, yes, I'm having a midlife crisis. Like, why am I still reading these comics? Like,
Yep.
Gonna be great, Tom Dog.
Yeah, Tom Dog, go to your LCS tomorrow and see if you can pick up Absolute Batman.
There's nothing wrong with the second printing, sir. It's still the
Yeah.
same comic. It's just not a first printing.
Yep,
It's fine.
totally.
It's fine. It's fine.
So without spoiling anything, just giving people a taste of what this is. Like I mentioned, I thought, Batman was just some muscle-bound geek that, that decided to put on a suit, but it's not. It is still Bruce Wayne, but it's a Bruce Wayne that faced so much difficulty in his life that he's that much stronger.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same with Superman and Wonder Woman. They've all faced
such bigger adversity. They don't have. I think these are the heroes at their most basic. They don't have an island. They don't have a fortress of solitude. They don't have a Wayne fortune. You know what I mean? They're stripped of a lot of what we consider canon for the characters. So the question being is, can they still be a hero when they don't have when they still have this, when the deck is stacked so much more against them, can they still accomplish the same status of these bastions of hope? You know, so that's the bigger question. You know, so it's a very exciting premise, and it's also something that, and this is getting harder and harder as more time goes on. It's something we haven't really seen. You know, like, let's be honest, we've seen Superman stripped to basics. We've seen Wonder Woman, you know, stripped of powers and things. Hell, we've even seen Bruce Wayne without his fortune, but they always bounce back, you know. But this is how they've always been. So how does that affect everything we know about them?
I'm excited about Wonder Woman for probably about the first time ever. And it's
I know. I
because,
never thought I'd hear you say that.
yeah, it's because, and I'm not going to give away why or anything, but Diana is not a princess being trained on an island to become a warrior goddess and things like that. All of these characters go through horrific shit to put them in the place where they are to have the strengths that they have. And she does not have all of that going for her. Like, none of them have what their main strengths are. But hot damn, do they all get kind of thrown into society? And it's a matter of, I think we've heard it said well with Philip Kennedy Johnson. Superman has to be a bastion of hope. Otherwise, you're not writing Superman.
Right.
You know, but he doesn't necessarily have to have his bastion of hope and everything come through because of the life that he was raised. We're going to see something that we've never seen before with him and see how he can remain to be like this. You know, he's an alien on this world, and he was happily raised by awesomely great foster parents and stuff and brought up in this great town and learned to be a great guy. But how is he going to learn to be a great guy when everything has just been thrown at him in life? That's what we're looking forward to seeing. And guys, it's going to be great. Like, I was really I was hoping, but I was just like, I don't want to get too excited just in case, but I'm really excited about this now. All of the titles coming out are just like, okay, I need to see DC in a completely different light.
Absolutely. And I'm even excited about the books that they haven't announced that they're hinting at. Like, for instance, I saw Jeff Lemire posting some about the Absolute Flash that he's working on, and I was like, oh man, that's going to be great. And then there are others, you know, because you got to put together that Justice League, you know. So Absolute Green Lantern, Absolute Aquaman, you know, who else? Like, you know, it's exciting in a reinvention way that I feel we've seen before. But it's just, again, it's nice. People are excited, and honestly, I'm looking forward to when we're going to see cosplays, because those are going to look great.
Oh,
You
totally. And, you know, another reason to be excited about it seems like, you know, DC's really, you know, getting a cohesiveness with it. You know, it's James Gunn definitely taken the helm of the movie side. You know, but also DC Studios in general, you know, trying to bring everything in line, the animation, the comics, everything. I have hope for DC. I think that, you know, I think we're really going to see an emergence of DC becoming a absolute powerhouse. You know, we're going to get some amazing storylines. I don't think we're going to, you know, I think with the recent theater releases, I'm not gonna, well, Joker 2 and shit like that. I think we're seeing the end of the crap, you know.
I would like to see the end of the crap.
I would like to say, I think, Leo, I think what helps is the same thing that also helped with Marvel when they were doing the Ultimate Universe, is that since it's a different universe, you can still have your mainstream universe, the universe that they've built for, you know, all these decades. It's still there, but you also have this opportunity that if you want something a little different, you can. And I'd like to remind everybody that at one point the Ultimate Universe titles were selling out the regular Marvel. There was a point they were even considering replacing the mainstream Marvel with the Ultimate Universe. That's how well they were doing, because in the end, these are still businesses and the numbers don't lie.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, wasn't the first Raimi Spider-Man? Wasn't that off the Ultimate Spider-Man, or was that Superior?
it's hard to say, but I mean, I know that the Raimi Spider-Man was referenced in Ultimate Spider-Man. But again, you remember the Ultimate Universe was like a baseline template for a lot of what we consider the MCU.
Yeah.
So, but in the end, Absolute Universe is the thing that what I feel DC needs. It's one of the few titles that I feel like I'm really interested to going back to my LCS for, because some books, I love to read, but I'm very fine with just reading online, which is something that, 10 years ago, I would have been like, fuck that. I have to, buy the issue, hold it in my hand, own a copy, So, like I said, these books, the Ultimate Universe, they're bringing me back to the shop.
Yeah.
So they better be good, because if not, my money's out. Hear me? Out.
Dude, I've been writing down requests since we do the news and predict, or we talk about comics that are being released like 5 months in the future. I haven't gone to get my polls lately, but I think I should probably do that this month,
You
because
really should.
I have a feeling, like I skipped like 2 or 3 months because I was only getting like a comic in. So I'm like, can you all?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but
but
Carrie,
October,
clean your folder out.
yeah, it's gonna be
It's
time.
just no, it's also customary, because the last thing you want is that you have a big folder and then you never go for it, and then they have to eat that cost. That's the kind of thing that destroys comic shops.
Oh, my
I-
comic shop just gives me a call and says, "Hey, your box is pretty full," and I do the walk of shame in there and say, "Okay, give me my box."
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I'm not nearly as prolific of a collector as you are. But a lot of mine, I was waiting for October anyway, because a lot of the stuff was like Hyde Street, and the stuff that's being released in October was what I ordered months ago to be like, okay, I want this. I want all the horror comics. Please give me. I have to order Devoured. Or is it Devour? I think
Devoured.
it's the Hyde Street spinoff. Yeah,
It's Devoured.
that's going to be released on the 30th. But yeah, all my stuff is waiting for me. I need to go get it and be like, happy birthday to me. And then I ordered the complete Harrow County, even though it's not being.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not being released until November 27th, I think, but it's on an 8% off on Amazon right now, which isn't a lot, but given that it's $150 volume of stuff, 8% isn't bad.
No, that's pretty good.
It's a couple bucks. So if you want to order it, get it on Amazon.
And it's Harrow County.
Yeah. And all the stuff. Well, if it's okay, when I get it, it'll be like December. So can we do like a little mini unbox kind of thing with Harrow County?
Sure, why not?
Like,
but in that note, I think Leo.
You're like, shut up, Karen.
No, I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah, shut up, Karen. Leo, let's wrap it up. We're past the 2-hour mark.
Okay. Ooh, hold on. Looks like my Absolute Batman 7 cover set is gonna be here a little early.
Hey.
Looks like your order is arriving early. So it's 7 covers.
And you can talk about it after the show.
Okay. Did you want to talk about who our next week's guest is and why you upset him?
Absolutely. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Splash Pages. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. I'm laying down because I'm tired, but I am not tired to tell you about next week's guest. You may recognize him from his work on the Marvel Zombies. That's 3, 4, and 5. His work on X-Men Noir. Maybe even you loved his work with Greg Pak on Incredible Hercules. But we have the great, the awesome, the good-humored Fred Van Lent will be here next week. We're going to read a bunch of his stuff, talk to him. It's going to be so great. So seriously, don't miss out.
Awesome. And with that, I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. You know how to find me. Just Google me. But more importantly, follow these awesome people and go check out our YouTube. We are always putting up some awesome new stuff there. So if you don't get a chance to watch like the full show, there's a ton of clips and special interviews like our interviews from Terrificon and past conventions. So a lot of great stuff there. And we will kick it over to Carrie.
Hey, how's everybody doing? You can find me by looking at Carrie Sanders on Facebook. If you see a crow that is judging you, that is my avatar. So you have found me. From there, you can get to my author page. I write things. Go read them. Buy my books. I'll be happy. It'll make me excited. I also do shows on the Owlite Network, which is part of the Dorkening. I am not sure what we have coming this upcoming Sunday, but on Monday of next week, we will be doing our Tomb of the Terrible, where we review absolutely horrible movies. And this one happens to be Amityville Karen. So if you, like me, are somewhat intrigued in seeing how horrible this movie could possibly be, watch it, join us, hang out. We'll all bitch about it and cry a little bit, maybe do some emotional support, do some drinking, and have fun. And yeah. Come join me, find me, play with me, talk to me. I'm excited. I've been drinking. So on to Drew.
I'm Drew. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We appreciate every... Get out of here, Lou, with that shit, Leo. We're here every Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. If you need to talk to me, I'm Drew Malo on Facebook, Ghostbushman1984 on Instagram. I'm here, them there. I'm working on a lot. So if it takes a minute for me, or if it takes a minute to get back to me, well, I'll get there. I promise. It's really not you, it's me. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Go to sleep now.
With that, we'll catch you later. Bye.
All right, kids.
Everybody.